Hello, I'm Will Sampson from FDMC Magazine and the Woodworking Network. We're in the shop today to talk about bubble levels. Now today, with laser levels and high-tech alternatives, it might seem that new bubble levels are anachronistic. But the reality is that sometimes a laser level is not the best solution. It's sometimes too much of a pain to set it up. You've got a tripod and adjusting, and let's hope the batteries are good and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the old-fashioned bubble level works no matter what. A company called Kapro actually makes both laser levels and the bubble levels, and they've come out with some new bubble levels that are an improvement over the traditional kind. Most of the levels we're familiar with these days are like this Stanley level here that has the amber type bubble vial. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Like this. These new Kapro levels have what they call Optivision red bubble vials. The vial itself is not red. What it really is there's a red prism that reflects red light on the edges of the bubble, and then there's a white background or a clear background depending on the kind of levels, kind of vials that are in each of the parts of the level. And it emphasizes the edges of the bubble so that you can really see it, particularly in lower light levels. I wasn't sure about it at first, but the more I used it, the more it really stood out. It's kind of neat. And there are three different levels that we're talking about today that in the series that Kapro has with the Optivision. This is your standard 24-inch box type level. This is a 10-inch torpedo level. And then there's this little 4-inch that they call a pocket level, but it's really intended to go on this bracket, which is a belt bracket that you can just clip onto your belt. And then you just pull this out, and it's got magnets on the bottom that hook into there so that it's very, very solid. Now the torpedo level, it's got really big beefy rubber bumpers on it, and initially I was concerned about something that I find torpedo levels are really handy, and one of the ways that I find that they're handy is fitting in the pocket of my work pants, and they just slip in when I need it. And that's a great thing. But this Kapro guy, being big, I was worried that it fit. Well, it does fit in the Carhartt jeans, although it's snug. There it goes, in both side pocket and in the outside pocket. But it's snug, and it won't in some of my European style work pants that I use. So that's something to consider. The big 24-inch level has a really interesting feature on it. Now normally when you're adjusting, where you're measuring for plumb, you put this up against a flat surface and you got to crane your head in and maybe bump up against a wall to read the bubble. But with the Kapro Optivision one, they have a prism that reflects this bubble vertically here, so that I can put this up against the wall like that, and even with these tables and all here, I can read that bubble up there very conveniently. I don't have to try and get my head in here to see where the bubble is and maybe get an inaccurate reading. The torpedo level and the little pocket level, they have magnets in them. So if you're working with steel framing, like steel studs, or putting in electrical conduit, you can just stick it on and it'll stay, and you can measure it really easily as you adjust it. So that's a nice feature. The other thing this big level has is the top edge is all radius, so that if you're wanting to draw a line across the top, it's a lot easier to access this edge. And then all of these they're supposed to be accurate to 5/10,000ths of an inch, but they also have gradient lines, and I'll zoom in here a bit so you can see this. Right here, there's gradient lines on either side of the bubble, so that it'll show you whether it's 1 or 2 degrees off bubble. Nice features. At any rate, if you can't do everything with lasers, and you can't, these are definitely good alternatives. Old-fashioned, doesn't need batteries, but new-fashioned and new technology in how you see the bubble, and how they're very durable, heavy-duty construction, big bumpers. They're likely to hold up really well in the toolbox or in the truck, and definitely worth checking out. It's Kapro, the Optivision series of levels. Well, that's what we've got for today. Thanks for watching. You can see more tool reviews and videos on our website at woodworkingnetwork.com. Thanks for watching.